I kinda adore you, but don't get too proud. You're like my favorite snack, I won't say it out loud. I won't say you're perfect, we all know you're not. But hey, you're the best kind of way that I got.
Hello and welcome back to The Imperfect Question. We are out on another ride, looking to get a little bit fitter again, and we're actually heading away from home, and she is doing what JJ is doing, like the best that she's done so far for walking away. We had a couple of little stops when we first turned onto this road, but since then she's just been walking lovely and smoothly. We just had a car go past us quite closely on this narrow bit because we couldn't get onto the verge, it's a bit too lumpy. And she was very well behaved, it was very close, but what can you do on a narrow bit like this? So she's doing really well, really proud of her. I think after the next junction, we'll probably try and give her a little bit of a trot away from home, see how that goes. I expect it to go in short little bursts, if I'm honest, rather than be able to do a nice long trot, but we'll see how it goes. Good girl, JJ. See how she goes. Often she'll stop at the junctions because sometimes we pull in there when cars go by, so it'll be interesting to see. She seems to be heading on mostly. A little bit of a pull to it. There we are. I thought she'd try and go in a little bit. Go on. Good girl. There we are. Oh, there is actually a car behind us. Let's pull in. Oh, I thought we were doing so well then. Thank you. Thank you. Just looking at the puddles. Around we go. Oh, well, we nearly went all the way past that junction without stopping, but unfortunately it is a little bit safe on these lanes to pull in when a car comes. Come on. And now we've stopped. See if we can keep it going. Again, just check there's no more cars. There's not. So we're okay. Good girl. Right. See if we get this truck going a little bit. Ready? So I'm using my body first. And then my legs. There we go. And we're off at a speedy 2 mile an hour. Oh, there we are. In a couple of strides. Let's try again. Good girl. So it's not that she's tired per se, it's just like a lack of willingness to go away from home. Come on. There we go. Good girl. Well done. Good girl. She does trot better a little bit on the way back towards home, obviously. But it's no good as just only ever trotting back towards home. We need to sometimes be able to trot away from home. It's quite funny because, as you've seen in videos before, when we do ride out, good girl, with another horse, she's quite speedy and she wants to stomp and stride ahead. But on her own, she's quite reluctant. But these are never bad problems to have when your horse is unwilling to go very fast forward. I'd always rather had a horse that was a little bit slower than a little bit faster. And again, good girl. So we're doing it in short bursts, but we're still trotting. All good for the waistline for both of us. There we go. Good girl. I know, good girl. And with her natural nappiness as well, obviously she's going to hit boundaries where she doesn't feel comfortable going forward, and normally she'd stop at those, but at least she's walking past those today. So it's a little bit of an equivalent of not just stopping because we're going away from home, but also where she would naturally feel a bit more cautious and want to look around travelling away. She's breaking her trot then. But like I said, very fortunate that she's staying in the walk. See if we can trot up towards this cake stand. Come on. Good girl. She's not being too objectionable. No tail swishing or anything like that. She's looking back at me when I'm asking, but there's no harm in that. They're not flat back. She's not upset. Good girl. Forward ho. Good girl. Good girl. And I think the cake stand's gone a bit Christmassy. We saw some tinsel for the sign back on the main road, but we'll see when we get there. We are kind of mid-November now, so lots of people are thinking about putting up their Christmas decorations. A little bit more, JJ, and then we can walk. Good girl. Come on, a little bit more. Good girl. Okay, that's good. Well done. So we didn't have a perfect trot, but that was all right. And yes, the cake stand has indeed got some tinsel around it. Let's go have a quick look. Quite pretty tinsel. Very nice, multicolours, and all the cakes available. Whee! Off we go round again, JJ. We're not going home yet, no. Mum just wanted to look at the cake stand. There we are. So who's ready for Christmas? I am getting very excited about doing JJ's Christmas main. Good girl. The prop that I've been waiting for has arrived. Come on, walk on. Oh, now we've got a bit of nappiness stopping. She's like, look, I just trotted all that way. There's a bird in the field, made her jump a bit. And now she doesn't want to go. Good girl. Doesn't want to go any further. Yes, the prop that I was waiting for JJ's main has arrived. So we've now got our 2 props that we need to do her main. But I have heard on the weather that it should be some snow in the UK next week, and that doesn't really surprise me because I've been seeing on Facebook all my American friends, one state after the other, saying that they're getting their first snow. And very often after America gets some sort of snow, we get it about 2 weeks later. So not too shocked or surprised, but yeah, they've said possibly by the end of next week there will be some snow, and that will be the ideal background for our Christmas main. So if it does snow, that will be when I do it. I'm kind of trying to beat the fact that her main's about to flop over at the minute. It's quite long. It's probably a hand and a half tall at the moment. So if we thought a hand's about 10 centimetres, we're talking about 15 centimetres tall. So it's doing well to keep upright at the moment, but the fjords do have quite a bit of a stiffer mane. And actually you can still see all the heart and diamond and everything that we did with the cards. Not as clearly, obviously, but we can definitely still see it. Look how good she is. We're walking past this junction now. Normally we stop at every junction, and normally she's stopped about 10 times on each piece of road walking away. So she's doing really, really well today. So yeah, the main will be a non-traditional main. So we're not talking, last year I did a sleigh and a reindeer. Didn't really like that one that well, didn't work too well, but we did that. But this year, well, it may not work. You may never see it because it didn't work. But I've got something, it's definitely iconic for Christmas, but not in the traditional sense. And there's like some specific music that goes with it as well. So you'll see, hopefully, if it works and when we get there. But I'm excited about it. Good girl, JJ. It's been wet again this week. But fortunately, we've not really had too many more floods. Some deep puddles, but nothing that's really trapped us anywhere. I hear another car coming. Excellent opportunity to trot again. Oh, both ways. I think we've got one behind and one in front, unless it was the sound travelling. Let's try and get up out of the way. Come on. Good girl. Keep it going more. And we'll just pull into this gateway on the right and wait for them to go past. Good girl. Over here. I think, oh, actually it is just the one that side. Let's see. Wait a minute, JJ, wait. Oh, yes, you can eat some grass for a second. Thank you. Right. Let's have a look if there was another one the other way. Or... no, I think it's just that one. Keep walking. Good girl. There we are. Just had to pull her head up then and she kept walking. That's really good. Walk on. Yes, I know. Good girl. Ooh. So I usually like to try and put my Christmas decorations around about the first week in December. They may go up before then, but we'll see. I think I've seen a lot of people that have already got some up. Another car going to come past now. Hold on. Ooh, it's a van. The DPD van. No doubt he'll be back up again in a bit, probably coming back. Good girl. Well done. I know, a bit stony there, isn't it? I don't think I've really got many Christmas horse stories. I'd love to hear if you guys have got any Christmassy horse stories. I certainly know that when I was younger, my cob would wear some tinsel and things like that. But I don't remember ever doing anything particular with the riding school or any adventures for Christmas per se. No. Good girl, JJ. My husband's currently at home trying to fit some new brake pads on our Land Rover. I think I did tell you once before, a long time ago, we tried to do some brake pads on the rear of the Land Rover, and that was a mistake because apparently you need like a special key device thing to stop the brake pressure coming out, because it's connected to the handbrake. The handbrake automatically applies even if the car's turned off, unless you take the fuse out, and then that pushes the cylinder for the brake thing all the way out and starts leaking brake fluid all over the place. So but apparently it's not the same for the front ones, so now the front ones need doing. We are feeling a tiny bit braver, and we're going to try that. So he's actually starting the process at home whilst I'm out riding, so I'm glad not to be involved in the stress at the moment of it. And if I'm very lucky, he'll have figured it all out for himself and got it together before I get back. However, we wanted to put the Land Rover under the barn so that it could be dry in case it did start raining again today, or in case we made a mistake and had to leave it off for a bit so it'd be nice and dry. But the problem is to get it under the barn, we had to move the trailer out of the way. So to keep the trailer safe and out the way, I said to put it back in the horse yard. If you remember where you saw it, where we did the trailer loading sessions before in the summer with the horses. So I said, well, put it in there, because then I can still get my work van out and it's not just sitting at the front of the house, which I wouldn't feel comfortable with, the trailer sitting out the front of the house at night. Here's the DPD van. We might make the gateway before he gets here. I told you he'd be coming back up probably. But we put it into the horse yard, and even though it's got hard standing underneath all the yard there and on the way back out, it's got a slight layer of mud and grass on it, and it actually has become really, really slick with the really heavy amount of rain that we've had lately. So when we tried to get the Land Rover out of the yard, it got stuck. Thank you. Come on, Jada. Oh, what a lovely view. Hey, look at the sheepies. Good girl, walk on. Walk on. Come on. Good girl. Well done. There we go. Oh, another car coming up. Maybe we should wait a minute. It's a bit of an awkward part of the road, this one. We'll go over to this gateway, have a look out here instead for a minute. So the Land Rover got a bit stuck because the wheels were just slipping. Like I said, there's like it ended up with a slick layer, and it wasn't really getting down to where all the stone is to grab. And we had to back it up and run at it a few times, and did eventually get up, and that was in four-wheel drive as well. That's fine, thank you. This car's just slowing down in case JJ was worried, but I've told him it's okay. Thank you. Good girl. Thank you. There's a girl in there just waving at us, a young girl. I think maybe they've seen us before, actually, from that farm. I had a young girl wave at me the other day. If you remember where we had rush hour at the crossroads down here. Good girl. My poor dog got coffee spilt on her this morning. Fortunately, it was not hot coffee at all. But my husband still had half a cup of coffee. It was pretty cold by then. And we were about to go walk around the garden. And he put it on the fence outside. And the fence isn't that straight. And unfortunately, the gate pushed the fence post and it wobbled a bit and it slid, and he did catch it, but some of the coffee just splashed out and splashed onto the back of my dog and my Dalmatian. So it's no harm, but it does smell like coffee now. Right, there is another car coming, so there's not much I can do other than try and squeeze over a bit onto this grassway. Should be able to come past. Ooh. There we are. Thank you. It's a bit close, but that's our fault as well. The grass was actually particularly soft then, so when JJ was trying to get the grass verge, she didn't feel very steady. Her feet kept sinking, so she kept trying to get back on the road. So unfortunately, we couldn't stay away too much. But the lady just went past us quietly, and JJ wasn't scared of the car, so we had no harm. All good. So yes, I've got a stinky coffee dog at the moment. I had a meeting this morning. It's our first morning meeting with the Tack Up and Ride With Me Confidence and Connection group. Because we have a new member in the Confidence and Connection group who is a lady from Australia. Now, of course, her time scale is completely different to ours. I think they're 10 hours ahead of us. So usually we've been having meetings in the evening about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. But unfortunately, I don't know what that works out to. Can't be bothered to work it out too much, but it's early in the morning for her. So it's not really possible for her to join. And she hasn't had much involvement in it. So we're all struggling to find a time in the week that we could be available. We have a meeting about once every 2 weeks with this. And we said, well, how about Saturday? And we were thinking 9 o'clock, but some people have got to be out places by 10. So we ended up getting up early, all of us, and having about 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9 in the morning. And it did mean that we did get to meet Helen, who is the new lady from Australia. And it was lovely to see her. And really good. And we had a meditation at the end today. So not a hypnotherapy session, but a meditation. So that was good. We're talking about all our confident things at the minute, and I was explaining to them how I'm feeling really confident with JJ at the moment, but I do need to push the boundaries. So my friend has cancelled the ride for now out in a group that we were supposed to do because the weather's been so unpredictable. And to be fair, we've just trapped the trailer in the yard at the minute, because if I couldn't get the car out without the trailer, we're not going to get the trailer out with the car. But I'm hoping that if it does snow this week, that it will be a case that we can pull it out if there's more hard ground or frosty conditions. I mean, to be fair, even if it just doesn't rain for a few days, it's going to be a little bit drier and harder on the ground. It's just because we've had such an unusual high amount of rain that it's so slick at the moment, really. Careful, JJ, some weird things on the floor there. Well, I'm feeling quite good at the moment. We've never really ridden past this point, so we might ride up a little bit and explore up there. Feelings about that is a little bit nervous, only because even though this is actually quite a difficult area for cars to pass, I can see that is also, and I don't know where pullover bits are and gateways and things going forward because I'm not familiar with it. But I think I'll have a little ride, even if it's just to the brow of that hill and turn around and come back. Look, JJ's like, this is where we turn around. Good girl. So it'd be interesting to see how she feels up here, because she has not been up here. So we may see some of the nappiness, here we are, come into play. So I'll let her have a little bit of a stop here, because like I said, she hasn't been up here before. So it is going to be a new environment. Walk on. Walk on. Good girl. She's like, she's not believing me that I want her to walk on. Walk on. Good girl. Good girl. Walk on. Not sure. There you are. Good girl. So it's good because we build up our confidence at the same time, going places and doing new things. There we are. Good girl. Don't know why she's coming over this side, if it's because she can see more grass there. Let's see if we can get back to the other side in case a car comes. Go on over. Go on. Good girl. Now, I also don't know what's in any of these fields, so there could be cows running at the edge. There could be other horses. We don't really know. So this is so interesting now. So now that we're somewhere that she's not familiar with, she's not actually napping, but she is doing a bit of a zigzaggy thing across the road. She just wants to be on this grass, she says. Okay, go on the grass. Maybe she thinks that looks more comfy. Very strange. Good girl. It's not actually that much more stable because it's boggy. So I don't know what she's thinking. But she's thinking something. Good girl. Yeah, see, it's not that stable. What are you doing on here? You just want to eat it, do you? Okay, walk on. Walk on. I can see a gateway there. So at least I know I've got a point there, and all this verge, to be fair, to get out of the way of if we need to. Come on, JJ, good girl. Oh, it's not gateway, it's just a pull in with a bit of puddle. Good girl. So I've got a bit more quiet because obviously I'm a bit more anxious than I'm assessing the situation myself as well as her. Good girl. Well done, JJ. Good girl. She's still going forward relatively well, even though we've been drifting off to the right there. Good girl. Well done. So we had a text about my new work van this week to say that, that's a good girl, to say that it has passed its MOT. It just needed some new brake shoes. I'll give her a second just to have a look around. I'm not going to ask her to move too quickly when there's no cars. No need to, because it is a new area. Walk on. And they've just got to empty all their work stuff out of it, because they were using it as like a storage for their work stuff. So they've just got to empty all that out. And then they can give us a call, and we should be able to go and buy it then. So that'd be good. And then it won't be too many weeks now. We must be on like 4 weeks of Christmas now, or something like that. Or it might still be just about 5. I'm getting a bit lost. And then we'll have to get it all swapped over. Well, after Christmas, I'm sure we'll have Christmas first, because my birthday is just before Christmas as well. Plans for my birthday, I like to do every year, is I like to have some sort of time with a horse. Usually that's like hiring a school or something, but depending on the weather, it might be play in the field or go for a hack or get a friend round for a hack or something like that. Depends. But some sort of time with a horse, and weather dependent as well, obviously. Then I like to have a McDonald's, because I love McDonald's. Oh, here's that shiny stuff we saw the other day. It's just plastic tarpaulin. I do not know what it's covering. Could be a spaceship. No, I don't know. And then usually in the evening I like to go to the cinema to see something. And this year there is the new Avatar out just before my birthday. So I think I'll probably like to go see that. Very good film indeed, Avatar. Right, car coming up behind us. So we're going to go into the lay-by on the left, because I think if I go into the gateway on the right, she'll just wander into the field. Although she's looking more at that gateway. Walk on, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Whee. Thank you. Walk on. Walk on. Pleasant enough ride this. Not too many cars today. The weather's good. Feeling a tiny bit more settled now on this new section. Now I can see forward. And I'm pretty sure that as soon as she turns around, she will just be more willing to go forward. Because often when I'm coming away places and she's a bit nappy, that does make me a little bit anxious as well. Just because, you know, you kind of want to walk forward to places where you can pull over if a car does come. And if she just constantly keeps stopping, sometimes she stops in awkward areas like on bends and just round corners. So you get worried then that a car won't know you're there if they come round and be a bit too fast. But at least when you're going home, she's more forward. So you can either trot somewhere to get out of the way, or just even just walking forward gets you there quicker. So lots of lovely blue sky around, as well as the clouds. Good girl. Yes, it's okay. You're doing very well. She's probably just more concerned about the exercise level now, saying, you know, if I come this far out, I need to go this far back again. There we go. Where we used to live before we moved to this house, they had really, really steep hills. So no matter what ride we did, you had to go up or down a really steep hill first. So most of the time we went up the steep hill. And originally I used to get off and walk them up, but then when they got a bit fitter, I used to ride them up, and I couldn't trot up the hill. It was just far too steep for us to trot up. But we go up there, and then once you got up, it was relatively flat, so you'd have lots of nice riding down quiet lanes up there. And that was a place that you didn't get too many cars as well, fortunately. But yeah, we don't have so many steep hills around here. There's lots of gradual slopes, like we're on a gradual slope down now. But fortunately not too many steep hills within riding distance. Anyway. Good girl. Okay. No, there's lots of those bales up here, haylage bales. Walk on. And they're all covered in plastic, so that might be something interesting for her to look at too, because she never really sees that. Good girl. It's very lucky to have a nice day to ride out on with all the weather we've had. And hopefully, if it's nice again tomorrow, then I shall come out. I'm thinking of perhaps bringing Comanche out for a walk as well, because he's not really been ridden out much here around here, just a tiny bit when we first moved in, and it's been quite a while since he's been ridden out at all. I would take him out for a ground walk first for sure, rather than just ride him straight out. But I'm sure he'd like the interest of going out somewhere. And if I do, I'll try and film that for you. But I suppose it depends how the weather's going to be tomorrow and what time we get. Really, it's the point where I need to do, instead of a spring clean, a bit of an autumn clean in the house, because it's just after Halloween and things going on, and that it's just got a bit messy. Now, outside's so wet, even though we do wipe the dog paws with the towel and things when they come back in. She's not seeming too bothered by this lot of haylage here. That's good. But now we wipe their paws and that, we're still finding bits of mud off their paws in the kitchen, like the small muddy footprints. So I need to give it a mop around. Another car coming up from behind. We might make it to that gateway, but if not, there's kind of wide here at the moment. Definitely wider than it was a bit ago. Just go through this puddle. Whee! Good girl, a bit of a play there. Let her have some grass for a second. Thank you. Little well-earned break. I think we might turn around here, although we could go more, but I think, we've done an extra little bit that we've not done before. I don't like to push too far out of our comfort zone. But yeah, she's having a bit of a munch there. Bit of a well-earned break. Lovely day. Okay, come on then, JJ, let's head home. So back through the puddle and off home we go. She's actually not walking quite as much forward as I thought she would be, just for turning around. So that surprised me a little bit. Still got lots of grass in her mouth from munching. Then give her a little break. But she's probably still a bit unsure because it's still a new area. Now she's turned around. She hasn't seen this direction before. A few branches on the floor from trees blowing the other day. It's actually when we were walking around the field this morning, because we've got gorse bushes all around the field. And of course, some parts of the gorse die off a bit this time of year. But you never usually see much gorse on the floor. And there's like piles of it, especially like the dead brown stuff, piles of it all over the grass. And I'm like, oh, how's this got here? Completely forgot how windy it had been. And my husband had to point out to me that it's the wind that had blown all the gorse onto the floor, because I just wasn't thinking about that at all. Bought a great big container the other day from Halfords, like one of those big, they're black plastic with the yellow click-on handles, and they're really big. Because basically where I keep my Halloween decorations, we hadn't sorted out the Halloween decorations last year. I probably mentioned it because the rats had got in, and we had cardboard boxes, they'd bitten through, and we actually found a dead rat in one, unfortunately, and it soiled a lot of it. And some of it was savable through putting through the washing machine, but a lot of it had to be just thrown away, really. So there's lots of other boxes containing other things in there. We've been tending to use that container more as an attic, since when we had the solar panels done, they did a lot of insulation in our actual attic, and we're not really supposed to store things up there now. We've got no boards down because the insulation's like really, really thick, and they told us it wouldn't work so well if you put boards on top. So we've been using that container outside as more of an attic, and there's a lot of cardboard boxes with just like keepsakes, and I've got like Disney videos, some old jackets that we don't use, motorbike helmets, things like that. And some of them are getting ruined because of the rats that can get in there, because it's more outside and it's not a perfect container. So the other week with this plastic container, I managed to kind of empty about 6 cardboard boxes and either throw stuff away or fit it in this new container. So that cleared off an awful lot. That was really good. But I'm hoping to get another one. Could have got one today, but we forgot when we went past there, so I didn't get one. And I just want to start moving everything into nice containers. So not only is it better for things not getting damaged by any damp anywhere, or if there's any rats again or things like that, but also when we do come to move house, it's going to be so much easier to take these kind of solid containers than cardboard boxes that tend to kind of, if you put them down wrong or stack them wrong, they'll either get squished and damaged stuff, or they fall apart as you're carrying them. So unless they're a new cardboard box, which is, they're usually fine then, but if they're an older cardboard box, they're not so good for carrying around, are they? Oh, good girl. So we were having some torn thoughts the other day about house moving as well, because our house is ready for put on sale again now, but I'm not too sure how the market has changed and how much our house is worth now. We did get a quote last year, but then the barn roof got damaged, so we didn't sell it then. And now my husband's thinking we'll probably wait until, there's that shiny stuff, see, over there. Let's go have a look through the gate and see so you can see it. I don't know what it's covering. There we are. It's a bit strange. Maybe just soil. Or, it could be silage for cows, but it just seems an odd place to put it in the middle of the field like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we're thinking of moving, so putting the house back up for sale spring next year now, because it gets very damp around this area in the winter. It's just not pretty looking at houses when they're damp. You've been out in the garden, you're bringing in muddy footprints and things like that, so it's not the best time, is it? So possibly next year. And, our original idea was to try and find a house similar to ours, a project, and either lose all the mortgage or just take on a smaller mortgage, so kind of downscale a little bit, because we were told before that our house has put on quite a bit of money, so we should be able to do that. But whether that's still the case now, I am not sure. The other alternative option that we have got is we could move to a more regular type of house, so without land or with very tiny amount of land, fully paid off, so that we definitely didn't have a mortgage. See, if we do that now with the kind of house we've got now, it would definitely be a project house. So it'd probably need like new windows, new heating, and we'd be living kind of as we did before, where you don't have any heating for a while and things like that whilst they get done. But if we went to like a regular house, we could probably get something that's already done out quite nicely, got nice heating and things like that, so it's a better situation straight away. But obviously that would mean that I would have to put the horses into livery, so it's not all bad if we do that. I do prefer to have them at home, but obviously a lot of liveries do come with facilities, so, and also hacking an area, you can choose where you go, in other words. So we could pick somewhere that's got a school that we could use, possibly an indoor school, and also the availability to go out to places with other people a bit easier. So it's not all bad if we do choose that option. So we're just having a think and seeing what we think will be best for the future. Obviously it's quite hard times for everybody at the minute, so to be in a position where we could definitely own a house and not have to do that much work on it would be an advantage in many ways. But long term, it might be a better situation to go for the project house, because if you'll then get to a point where eventually you definitely own that house and you don't need to pay any extra for the horses to be cared for. So it's pros and cons for different situations. So I think we'll see what the house can go on the market for, what we can sell it for, and what will be available to us, and make decisions from there. I really would like the land, but there's some advantages to also, we don't see anyone all the way out here. In our house that we had before, we at least had a few neighbours, but here our nearest neighbour is probably about 3 fields away, and then there's only one neighbour and then the others are much further, like miles away, other than that really. So yeah, it can be a bit lonely for us sometimes here, so we'll see. We've not decided yet. I don't mind being out in the middle of nowhere on our own, but it can be difficult for my husband sometimes as well, not seeing anyone like that. He used to really get on with our neighbours previously, both sets of neighbours, and they'd go have barbecues, or if there was a problem like with the car now, he'd go around and ask the neighbour to help a little bit, so he'd got some company and some good knowledge as well. JJ's not sure whether to stop here or not. Oh, you keep tripping on the bits in the middle of the road today. Hey, silly girl. Right, we've had a nice little walk now and we're back on more familiar turf. So with this uphill piece, I might see, watch where you're going, darling. Might see if she'll trot, okay? Good girl. Good girl. See if we can keep this going a little bit. I don't expect to keep it going much because we're going uphill. Come on, good girl. But there's a slight advantage of it being on the way home. Good girl. Well, that burst was a little bit longer than our other little burst. Try again. Good girl. I know if we did have another horse with us, she'd definitely be like stomp, 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 stomp all the way up the hill. No bother. But that's different. I got time in the middle of the week this week to go visit some of my horsey friends, Laura and Vicky, and we went to watch some Pirelli DVD on Liberty, so we saw a little bit of that. Did some horsenality charts so we could figure out what horsenality their horses are. JJ, if you know anything about horsenalities, is a right brain extrovert, but because I do a lot of work with her and she does a lot of training, and with my own confidence levels kind of going alongside her confidence levels, I do make her appear to be a left brain introvert a lot of the time, but that's not her innate horsenality. So what a right brain extrovert is I know, see, this is where I'm saying I make her look like a left brain introvert, because naturally a right brain extrovert is more forward going. JJ, not so much like that anymore, but she was like, would panic and run everywhere. They're more likely to rear than buck if they do. She hasn't done that yet, but it's in the horsenality that if there was a problem, it's more likely going to be that than bucking. So a forward going horse, also more likely to rear, and she, as a right brain, she's also more instinct driven, a little bit more cautious and sometimes fearful of things, and you can't see that hardly at all now, to be fair. But when I first met her, she was like in the back of the stable snorting away, whereas the other fjords that were there all had their heads over going, hello, who are you, can I say hello to you? But she was like in the back of the stable, more scared. And then when we got home, she was, if we'd try and lead her places, and she'd get really scared and just kind of end up circling around us on the end of the line, as they say, like a kite on a string, just going around like crazy. And even when I got a braver and we managed to get down to the arena, which was quite far from the field, and you had to go through the caravan park to get there, even when we got there, she'd still have moments of, if something made a sound or banged or touched a leg or something, she'd shoot forward and run around. I've probably got some video of things like that somewhere. But yeah, she's just learned to be a lot calmer. I remember one of my friends trying to pick up her feet once when we first had her, and she just tried to kick my friend. So all those kind of things which you just don't see anymore in her at all, and it's because we've taken a journey of training and taken our time with her, and she's just so much more stable and steady now that, like I said, she just appears to be more like a left brain introvert now, which is something that's a lot more likely to go slowly and be brave and things like that. So that's how she comes across. It's not her innate horsenality, but we've kind of centered her so much more that she actually probably pushed her more than center, unfortunately, and made her into that left brain introvert. Good girl. If we were talking about people on a similar scale, here comes a very whistly car. I think we'll go back because it's a whistly car. Good girl. Back to the gateway. Then I am a right brain, and I'm on the cusp between an introvert and an extrovert. Good girl, in the gateway. Whoop, a bit more. Come on. Good girl. Be fine, thank you. Just telling him to go past us. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, it's the same car. I don't know why it's making more noise than it was earlier. Good girl, little trot to get rid of some of that adrenaline. But yeah, so as a right brain introvert, that's kind of like a shy person. But the extrovert side comes out when I'm talking about horses and things like that, which means I get very chatty, and although I'm not confident, I'm quick talking, and my mouth is going faster than my brain. So that's why often when I'm talking, I get stuck for what to say, because I've said like 10 sentences and I'm thinking, what was I talking about? Where was I going with that? But because we're both kind of in that right brain category, we're quite evenly matched, which means whenever we're facing new challenges, we're facing them at the same level. So that sometimes it's good to have an opposite person. So say if I was a left brain person, I'd be very confident and I could portray my confidence to her. But it does work with you both being unconfident as well, because you can face the fears together. So whereas I wasn't confident to come out very far down the road at some points, then neither was she. But then I didn't push her past too many thresholds, because with the right brain, that's where you have a problem. If you push them past too many thresholds, you can get kind of an explosion in some horses where they've been it's been bothering them a little bit, and then you push past that threshold and it bothers them a bit more, and you keep going, and all of a sudden it's just way too much for them to cope with, and they don't know what to do with it. And that's where they can just, like a little thing like a crisp packet in the hedge could just make them bolt away somewhere. And it's not that the crisp packet was that scary, it's just the fact that they got too many issues all built up together that they couldn't take the mental pressure anymore and just had to release it. So because we're both right brain, it works very well together, is what I was trying to say. It's actually getting quite warm now as well. Got my coat on, but I can feel the warmth coming up. Let's try another trot. It's a nice trot. Good girl. Come on. Need to get you fit. Need to get you slim. Oh well, a small trot's better than no trot. The grass is definitely losing its nutrition at the moment. They come in and wait a lot more for their morning and evening hay net. Still only having one hay net between the two. Haven't always had time to soak it now with the heavy weather and stuff. So some of the hay nets have not been soaked. Not ideal, but still. I think I can see a little bit of weight loss in both of them, just from the conditions of winter at the moment. But we will see. Only time will tell. Still haven't made any decisions about clipping at the moment. But I can't like to, because there's lots of patterns and styles I want to try, but obviously it's just a lot less effort when she's got a full coat on and I don't need to rug her and she can just look after herself outside. When I need to start rugging her, then I need to start worrying more about things happening like rain scald and things like that. And I've only got a no fill rug for her at the moment. Comanche's is a little bit too big for her, so she can't just wear that one. And obviously if it wasn't quite enough, that means I've got to go out and spend money and get a new rug for her, which I haven't really got the money for that. So in some ways I'd just be better off leaving her woolly. And like I said, she doesn't really get sweaty, but they do look nice when they're clipped, especially when you can put the patterns in. But still, undecided. I've got her on a nice long loose rein now coming home, so that's nice. And it's good that she's now developed a habit where she's not so much, she's got her head low and stuff, but she's not really trying to go off and snatch the grass anymore. She's just walking home how she can. So that's a big improvement, really. I know when we're coming out, if I leave it a bit too loose in the rain, sometimes we can do it, but a lot of the time she'll go off and start eating the grass either side. It's definitely improving. I shall have to measure this ride today on the maps. I know the regular ride that we do down here is 2.2 miles. And we went just a tiny bit longer today, not far, but a tiny bit longer. Pretty much, for some reason, most of the loops and rides around here are about 2.2 miles, which I appreciate is not necessarily that far. But yeah, we just tend to do the same kind of regular loops. Or straight line in this case. Good girl. I've not seen the cows for a while, actually, so they've probably all been put in barns for the winter. There's some sheep around. Some sheep behind this hedge on the left. You can't really see them, but there is. JJ's walking like she's super tired, but we haven't really gone that far. Good girl. Hopefully she doesn't get too tired and just lie down on me like my cob used to. See, if I can get to rely on her more walking like this, where she'll just walk forward on a nice loose rein, then I can start bringing the stick out for the camera and take some 360 video from the side more, so you can actually see us from the side. But currently I can't rely on her being steady enough to do that. So if I use it at the minute, it becomes awkward when she decides not to go somewhere, or something happens that she tries to turn around or something like that. It's just very awkward to hold physically and deal with what she's doing, and therefore she starts doing a little bit more troublesome stuff, because she can realise very quickly she can get away with it easier. So for now, you're just stuck to viewing between the ears from my chest, and yeah, we'll hopefully improve those views in the future. Well, other than that, I've really run out of a lot of things to say, so we'll speak again soon. Till then, I shall see you next time. Please do subscribe if you've enjoyed today's video. We do quite a few hack and chats at the moment. We are hoping to have some more adventures and some more interesting videos in the future. But till then, you've stuck with me just having a chat with you. See you again next time. Bye!